The Telecommunications Act of 1996. It was supposed to diversify radio. It was supposed to make it easier for people to buy radio stations, get on the air. All the local radio stations, it had the exact opposite impact. You had iHeartMedia, Town Square Media, and Cumulus Media buy up all the radio stations domestically, and then they went to playlisting. And playlisting is the thing that really, really hurts local acts.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of Q Points Podcast. I am DJ Sir Daniel.
And my name is J. Ray, sometimes known by my government as Johnny Ray Cornegay III. And Sir Daniel, we are about to combine two things that we really love. We're about to combine books and we're about to combine R&B, and that is just magical with our guest.
What I love about our show, J. Ray, is that for the amount of years that we've been doing this show, we are slowly but surely collecting our tribe. And our guest, this next gentleman, is definitely a part of the Q Points tribe because not only is he a DJ, he is also a professor of music, modern music, specifically R&B music, and he's an author. But I am so excited for our Q Points listeners to get to know Amani Roberts.
Absolutely, y'all. So listen, Amani Roberts is an award-winning music business professor, internationally renowned speaker, professional DJ, and USA Today best-selling author of The Quiet Storm, a historical and cultural analysis of the power, passion, and pain of R&B groups, who educates music professionals on making better business decisions. As a professional speaker for thousands worldwide, Amani has left an indelible mark on audiences by combining music history, innovative technology, and business education to spread knowledge on the business of music. Throughout his illustrious career in hospitality in music, Amani has been trusted by industry giants such as Chartmetric, Berklee College of Music, and Yahoo Music. His collaborations with these organizations, along with his master's in music business education from Berklee College of Music, his education at Scratch Academy Los Angeles and Howard University, where he earned a bachelor's of business administration and hospitality management, underscore his credibility and expertise. Widely recognized as an authority in his field, Amani Roberts leverages his extensive experience and education to provide the ability to see different solutions to problems that have been hidden in plain sight. His innovative approach, combined with a deep understanding of the industry, positions him as the go-to expert for music education in the evolving music business landscape, and that has never been truer in this moment. But Q Points family, welcome Amani Roberts to the show. What's up, sir?
What's up? What's up? Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Amani. And seriously, I just want to start off the bat because you are a DJ. It feels like every single day I can't go a day on our social media and not see some reel or some clip from other DJ professionals just discussing the certain things that are happening within our industry, within our craft. And it makes me wonder, what do you feel like is one of the most pressing issues for DJs at this time?
I think because the bar to DJing is so low, anyone can buy a controller, anyone can go on their computer and DJ. The noise, there's a lot of noise. And I think the ability to read a crowd is not something you can learn by watching a YouTube video. You can't learn that by DJing online, whether you'd be on, some of the streaming platforms. And I think that that's the most pressing need, the ability to read a room. And I would say number two is how to do a proper opening set. What I learned being in hospitality is kind of the back of the house. Like, we show up to a bar, a convention, a venue, we set up, we go. But what I learned in hospitality is I work behind the scenes. So I've been rolling tables. I've been a bartender. I've been
Okay.
a server, so we understand everything that's involved. So we have a certain amount of respect for the work that people have to do because they have to show up early. They got to set up. They got to serve the people. They got to stay late. So that's
Yes.
not an easy job. And whatever I can do to make it easy for them as a DJ, I'll try to do. That could be as simple as playing some music that they like during a set so they can kind of vibe to it. It can be keeping an eye out. So if there's certain guests that are giving the staff a hard time, you kind of there as a backup, cycling during your set, cycling the bar so that people who are on the dance floor can still show the bartender love and get drinks.
Community is important. And I met a lot of those people when I took a course at Scratch Academy. And I understand that you did the same. What was your experience like going to the Scratch Academy? And tell us about your community, your DJ community.
Yeah, Scratch Academy, not to be cliche, but it was rather life-changing, because it depends. You need to have good people around you. I had a really
Yeah.
close friend, Josh. He, one of my close friends in life, he went there first. He came back and said, Amani, I think you should go there because I was learning how to DJ at the time. He said, I think it can help you become a better DJ. And so if you have people around you that you trust, I said, oh, if you recommend, I went. So I went. So Scratch was like the strong foundation. And then my community, like I'm tight with a lot of DJs across the world. The only one of the few blessings of Twitch is I got to network and meet a lot of DJs during the pandemic through Twitch or whatever. So I know people all over the world. Currently in Vegas, we have a pretty tight community. Actually, a bunch of us are working on this nonprofit now camp spinoff. It's a DJ camp for kids, music production camp for kids over the summer. We used to have it before the pandemic, then we stopped. And now our director, DJ Tina T, she's doing it again. So I got a pretty tight community through that and just doing other gigs across the world. Like I can pretty much know a DJ in every city, every major city. So that's my community. Yeah, and that's how we roll.
I love hearing these stories. First of all, I love that two DJs get the opportunity to like connect. That community building is so critical.
Yeah.
And with the work that you've done over time, Amani, it's really interesting because you did go ahead and write this really important book, which does several things, right? Of course, you talk about your passion around R&B and sharing that, but you also get into the business of the music, which sometimes gets left behind. Like people either stick to one or the other, and what your book does is it blends the two. We want to hop into the book for a bit because there's so much here, and I want to read a quote actually from the book.
Okay.
So we have to talk more about the Telecommunications Act of 1996. So we're in the 30th anniversary of that right now. But in that chapter, you say this towards the end. The popular songs will get the most ear traffic, and this drives up the value of an advertising spot. Therefore, the radio stations are playing for the advertisers, not for the listeners. An R&B group singing about love and heartbreak does not fit the typical ad spots outside of those for online dating companies. I want you to expound because I think it's so important to call out the thing, because when we talk about R&B music, all three of us have stories about the songs we heard, how they were being played, etc. But so much of that before 1996 was locally handled, the DJs doing this. So I really do want you to talk about how this Telecommunications Act really did aid in a lot of ways with the decline of R&B over time. If you could wax poetic a little bit with us.
Yeah, the Telecommunications Act of 1996. It was supposed to diversify radio. It was supposed to make it easier for people to buy radio stations, get on the air. All the local radio stations, it had the exact opposite impact. You had iHeartMedia, Town Square Media, and Cumulus Media buy up all the radio stations domestically, and then they went to playlisting. And playlisting is the thing that really, really hurts local acts. If we think about where you are, TLC got big locally in Atlanta first. Boyz II Men got big locally in Philadelphia first. Think about the group Shy. I heard them first on WPGC 95.5, had a show called DC Home Jams. They played them first, then they got to be astronomical and big. Houston, Destiny Child was big in Houston first. We can list city by city and the groups and everything. But what that act did is it took away local radio's power, audience, and when they go to playlisting, you could be in Atlanta, you could be in Vegas, you could be in Chicago, you could be in Seattle. You're generally going to hear the same songs on popular radio that you would. If we think back to like early 90s, mid 90s, you would hear like R&B groups on main radio.
Yeah.
You would hear them on main radio. For example, I remember I did this during my research, which was a lot. There was a week in 1997 in July where 12 of the top 20 Billboard Hot 100 hits, this is the main charts that include all genres, were from R&B groups. Yep. 12, and that's R&B groups over pop, rock, country, everything. You fast forward 10 years later, 14 of the top 20 were hip hop. But you can see how it shifted because then hip hop got to be on popular radio. And then what really kind of ties to the point about advertisers don't really want to be advertising, talk about love and heartbreak, is EDM music. Mm-hmm. EDM music is kind of up-tempo, talking about partying and life is good, bright things, you know. R&B music can talk about some, you know, dark things, heartbreak, you know, loss, pain. So they chose to kind of flock to that for the advertising. So that helped EDM music grow. Mm-hmm. So it just was not appealing. It is not appealing for some advertisers on popular radio stations to really support. So, you know, the advertisers go to where the money shifts. What I couldn't include in the book, due to editing and just some things, is if you look at the board of directors from all three of those companies, you will see two people that look like us out of 36, I want to say, I think out of 36 on the board of directors. And, you know, those are the people that dictate the mission of the companies. And if there are only two people that look like us, people aren't going to understand. They're not going to understand. Yes. And so that's my long waxing poetic about that quote that you got.
No, that is absolutely critical. And I have told Sir Daniel this story before. I visited Atlanta for the first time in 1997, right?
Okay.
And I remember coming to Atlanta and my mind being blown about, I was literally listening to radio and hearing no one that I knew. Yeah, and I was literally asking, so it was my friend's sister who was driving us around. I'm like, who's this? And she was like, oh my God, that's Witch Doctor. Who's that? And then she was just like running off people because everybody that came on the radio, number one, that quality was together. Those songs were unique to the area. And my mind got blown. And then, of course, I returned to Atlanta a decade later. And I'm hearing what I'm hearing in Philly. Yeah. In Atlanta, and I'm like, when I first came here, that was not true. I didn't hear any of what I heard at home here. It really, truly did make a difference. And I wanna hop into radio for us for a second because I listen to the radio every day. There's never there's never a day when the radio doesn't play at some point. And I think people kind of minimize the power of radio, but I'm like, no, you hear radio throughout your day, no matter what happens. You describe in your book, right? Like waiting for a song. We know this, right? We've all done it. We're making a tape. Remember in the 80s when we was young, we had to make a tape.
Yes,
and
press,
so we are waiting on pause. And I used to get mad because I hated when the word, like I didn't like that. So I needed to start it earlier than the song. So you had to anticipate things, right? You describe that anticipation that you experience as a young person sitting near the radio, waiting for the DJ to play. You mentioned New Edition specifically.
Candy Girl. Candy Girl. Yes.
And when we think about this moment that we're in, sometimes the DJs aren't even from where you are, right? Because the show that's playing is so it's not possible to build the same kinds of relationships with our music and with our DJs. From your perspective, what do you think we lose when that kind of disappeared?
Went away. Yeah. Yeah, because now shows are syndicated, so you could be listening to someone and they're playing in every city, which is good for the particular DJ, but unfortunately, it's not good for the local. So we're losing out local acts. You're losing the ability. One of my dream jobs is if I'm a slow jam radio DJ, like Melvin Lindsay, The Quiet Storm, WHUR.
Yes.
You call up, you say, I want to make a dedication to whomever you're recording or whatever. And I want you to play this song, and then they play the song. And then maybe you call up 3 weeks later, so you have a relationship and it works. And that's different now. Also, it's just you could be able to hear rare cuts more so when you're listening to these shows, and that's missing. So, for example, I discovered Phyllis Hyman by listening to The Quiet Storm, WHUR, and that song Old Friend. They would never play that song on the radio, but that's how I discovered it. You know, I think I discovered Shy Light's Old Girl from that show. So I want to say the proper word is like homogenizes. I hope I'm saying it right, but it just waters down. Yeah, it waters down the music that you're exposed to. So then you lose out on finding the rare cuts. Like you would hear Jodeci Come and Talk to Me, but you might hear Jodeci You and I. That's my favorite song.
Yes.
So, you know, they would play that on The Quiet Storm, but on the main radio station, they play Just Come and Talk to Me. So you lose out on some of the rare cuts. Think about all the rare cuts that you would hear. So it really dumbs down the listener base because they're only exposed to a same set of songs. That's what's missing, and also including like the personalization and just the relationship. Like you knew, okay, 7 p.m. you're gonna hear Smokey Robinson, Quiet Storm, and you're gonna you can hang on that till midnight. It's coming. If you want to call in, you could call in, and I just think that that's missing, and it's just unfortunate.
So I still work in terrestrial radio. So
Okay.
everything. So right now you preaching to the choir. Like this has been part of my life for years as somebody that grew up listening to radio and now working in it. And I will tell you, there was a sweet spot where we still had that magic of the connection between the listeners and the on-air personalities, and it's, you know, the cluster that I work at now, because there's like four radio stations underneath our cluster. Still kind of maintains that here in Atlanta, because it's just one of those stations that's just been around long enough to where you can still do that. But Amani, I'm feeling like, one, the culture and the soul has been gutted out of our music and radio. It's been gutted, and I think it's been gutted on purpose. I feel like, to your point earlier, for monetary reasons, of course, and people trying to sell ads and whatnot. But I also can't help but feel like there is a parallel between what's happened with the music and radio in general and what's happening now with our voting rights. Like everything, like I really do feel like there is a concerted effort to erase everything. Do you feel that? Have you peeped that? Is that something that's come up on your radar?
Well, what do I say? They may hate us, but they sure love the culture, you know?
Love that culture.
So I say that, I think, you know, songs are much shorter, songs are less complex, so they're kind of like dumbing things down, you know, they can try to erase things, but the way the world is now, we definitely will, we had like the Underground Railroad way back in the day. We can definitely be creative and keep things alive, you know. It's just that in the public, it looks like they're erasing things, but there are ways, there are people working. I'm confident, I have faith. But I will say, like, if you look at like some of the songs, and I'm not like, you know, angry old man, get off my lawn. But you know, if you just look at some of the songs nowadays that are really, really popular, they're pretty basic. They're interpolating a past hit. So it's like we've just lost the courage to really do something different. However, there are some artists that will release music that's different. And I found that radio is late to catch on to it. So one time I was DJing a wedding and they requested Boot Up by LMA. And this was the one time I put a song on and the entire wedding was singing along and dancing. Now that's a hit. Now, radio was very, very, very late in picking up that song to play it on popular radio.
Yep.
It was more popular online. And this is pre-pandemic. And so I just think that radio is late. And that song is not that complex, but still a good song. Now, every once in a while, we'll get a song that comes out that's R&B that is kind of complex. Like if you look at Kehlani's hit "Folded," now that's a heavy song right there. That's a
There's
good
a
one
lot
right there.
going on
That's
in
a
that
true, that's a true R&B song. You know, so you have like that. If you think back to the early 2000s, I love Tank, so Maybe I Deserve. They don't really make those kind of songs that have subtle messages. Like a lot of times nowadays, we just overt. We just tell you what we want to have happen in a song. You know, think about back in the day. They thought Prince was crazy and he was being a little calm.
Right.
They thought Rick James was off the chain. He was talking about Mary Jane. And nowadays they say whatever they want to say. So, but I think that goes to, it's just being dumbed down. Like, what happened to the subtlety? What happened to, you know, metaphors and hinting, but not saying it? That adds to the complexity. So that's my long answer. But I don't think, like, I understand we have serious issues with the voting rights. They hate the people, they love the culture. I still think there'll be ways for us to kind of get around or work through that. We just don't see it yet. Because if we compared today to what people went through in the 60s, it's not night and day. So we just have to recapture some of that cleverness and courage and just strength that was happening in the 50s and 60s to apply to today's era. So that's kind of what I'll say. But really, with the songs now, like Sexual Healing, Marvin Gaye, like they'll certainly do a song that interpolates it, but to have the lyrics that were in that song, it's just different now. It's just different.
Yeah, everything is sped up, chopped up. They'll take a phrase and chop it up and repeat it over and over and give it a bouncier beat. And, you know, I get it. That's cute, especially now for TikTok and things like that. I think, J-Ray, I think that there's a lot of bravery that's missing. You know, program directors were like, and music directors were revered, you know, at a point. They were revered. There was music days at the radio station. Tuesdays was our music day, and you saw all the A&Rs coming through the street rep. Everybody would come through, handful of CDs, wanting everybody to get a CD so they can hear what's new, what the new artist has been working on. And the program directors were a lot, to your point earlier, Amani, about pulling album cuts and putting that into rotation. Sometimes there's just no bravery, or their hands are tied now. They really can't, like you said, that corporate umbrella that you work under really has you know, like tied up and can't make a whole lot of decisions or break records like they used to. And I think that's why people are relying heavily now on, you know, internet, radio. That's why we DJs are important when we do our live streams. Shout out to New Content, to LJ, you know, putting on that mix show that he does, and we can get on there and we play any and everything, and people absolutely love it. I have the pleasure, I still work with Joyce Littell, who is our Quiet Storm maven here in Atlanta. She is the queen of the Quiet Storm. Just recently, she was asked to host a party. It's not brand new, it's been around for a minute, called Slow Drag. And they play nothing. They started out playing nothing but 70s slow jams. But when they asked Joyce for a special Atlanta 404-day festivity, they expanded it to 80s and 90s. And let me tell you something. There is still power to the slow jam. There's still power to the slow jam. And this is why I know we're kin. Q Points, we've had a campaign called Slow Jams Can Heal Us for a couple of years now, because we still believe in the power of the slow jam. And your book is called The Quiet Storm. And just like, tell us where people can get the book, but I want to know, like, just off the top of your head, your 5 favorite slow jams. Because Jay, we did a show where we our listeners know there's a difference between a ballad and a
And a
slow jam.
Yes.
So they know. So we want to hear your slow jam
Okay.
favorites, your
Slow jam.
picks.
Okay. You can get the book at Amazon, any platform you order books, or you can go to thequietstormbook.com and order a copy. I send it to you. Top 5 slow jams. Ooh. Okay. Because I have such respect and I feel this group doesn't get the amount of credit they deserve, I'm going to say slow jam number 1 is going to be Between the Sheets, the Isley Brothers. The Isley Brothers, only group in history to have hits in 6 straight decades.
Yep.
From the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. That is amazing. And it doesn't get talked about enough. Okay. So that's slow jam number 1. Slow jam number 2, Can You Stand the Rain, New Edition. I mean, you know, just like, whoo, on a perfect day, but don't let me try to sing it here. That's 1, 2, that's slow jam number 2. You know, I'm a big Tina Marie fan. Big Tina Marie fan. Dear Lover. Dear Lover. Woo! Imagine if someone were to write a song like that nowadays. Did you?
Right.
She said, just, oh my goodness,
Yes.
like that song right there.
I hope
Dear
this
Lover.
letter finds
Finds
you,
you.
dear.
Oh my goodness.
Baby, listen.
Come on now. I mean, it's hard to do top 5. Okay, I'm thinking. Let's get to like the 90s. Oh, okay. I do think I'll give Usher credit. You Got It Bad. Like that one right there. That one right there. You Got It Bad. That's good. I can go. I can't name 5, but I'm gonna stop at 5. But like SWV, like, ooh,
Which
oh
one?
my goodness. Which one?
Right.
Weak.
This is the power.
Yes.
This is why we be telling people this is the
Yes.
power of these songs. We talk about this. We've talked about this on the show where these songs, I was using I statement, gave me language, right? So it taught you how this emotion felt. And then you start to realize like, oh, that's what they were singing about.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what that song
And
really means.
And it's okay. Like,
And
it's
it's
okay
okay.
to sing about love and heartbreak. Nowadays, people are scared. They don't want to talk about it because, you know, we're too stoic or whatever. It's okay to put yourself out there and be like, you know what? I love you and I'm sad that you're not here. I miss you. Climax, I miss you. Like all these emotions, it's okay. Like, people are more, as you said this early on, people were more courageous in the art that they shared and sang about back in the day. Nowadays, we're too cool, most of us, to think about it or whatever. So when we hear a song like Folded, we're like, oh, she's
Love
like,
that
I got your
song.
clothes folded. Like, it's
Baby,
time to
I got
go.
your clothes
like,
folded, and it's not too cold. I'm like, it's not too cold. I'm like, okay, I like this carrying on.
Yes.
They wrote
I just
that
wish it was
song,
longer.
whoever-
So think about I wish it was longer. So one of my
Yes.
favorite musicians in life, Babyface.
Yes.
So if you look at like Where Will You Go?
Yeah.
You have the prelude, you have Where Will You Go? Who's Gonna Love You Like I Do? You have the whole song, good 4 or 5 minutes, and then you have the postlude. What happened to those? You know, we could use that on the answer sheets. And if you think back, it just shows you the power. It just shows you the power of this. We would make tapes
Yes.
Yeah.
of 90 minutes of songs, front and back. We would meticulously make. Nowadays, you could just do a playlist. No. We're gonna make a tape. We're gonna blend it in. We're gonna add special things, and then we're gonna give it to someone.
Man, Amani, you are an absolute joy. Congratulations and thank you for writing this book. So for everybody who is tuning in, make sure that you head to any of the platforms and order The Quiet Storm, a historical and cultural analysis of power, passion, and pain of R&B groups. This music is so important, and the stories and the history of how this music has moved through time is important, and Amani does all of that in the book. Amani, where can folks connect with you on social media? Where can they find you?
Yes. So I always love to direct people to my website, amaniexperience.com. If you're in the music business and you need some advice, you want to have a call, amaniexperience.com/call. And then my socials are at Amani Experience on like the platforms. So just reach out to me, tell me where you found me or met me, and let's have a conversation.
Absolutely love it, y'all. Q Points family, thank you so much for tuning in. If you can see our faces or hear our voices, hit the subscribe button. Make sure that you subscribe to Amani. So go and follow Amani on social media, and most importantly, go and buy the book, Thank you. All the information about that will be in the description. Check out our website at qpoints.com where you can watch our entire archive of episodes. There are a ton of episodes and topics for you to dive into. Check us out on Substack where we have some additional content. Become a member on our website as well. It keeps the lights on over here at Q Points, and shop our store at store.qpoints.com. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all.
We absolutely do. And like I say in every episode, in this life, you have a choice. You can either pick up the needle or you could let the record play. I am DJ Sir Daniel.
And my name is Jay Ray, and that is Amani Roberts, y'all.
And this is Q Points Podcast, dropping the needle on Black music history. We will see you on the next go round. Peace, y'all.
Peace, y'all.